to make an announcement?
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, and let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, you. Arms.
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night.
happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, lose my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. You and me, no matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and me, no matter how they toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together.
Tim's glasses. Those are mine.
Okay, dear audience, online and on the site. I hope my heart is flutters as yours, or no, vice versa, yours hearts are flutters like mine, because our immaculate teacher is in the room. So let us warmly welcome our immaculate teacher, who will guide us into the essence of a magical life.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, hello. Can you hear okay? Sure? A little louder, maybe. Welcome, and thank you for coming to Arizona. We were at Diamond Mountain last week, and the director of Diamond Mountain, Sunam, is she here? I don't know. No, she's still directing. She said, wow, this is the 2 weeks when Arizona is not too hot. So it's good that you came at this time. Okay, Arizona should be pretty good this time. My job during this, my main job during this class is I will teach twice a day, and there's two beautiful books that I really love, and I would like to teach those to you guys. One is called Dang Zin Shang Dep. Say Dang Zin Shang Dep. Dang Zin Shang Dep. It means argument between the angel and the devil in one person's mind. Okay, and I think we all have an angel in our mind, and we all have a devil in our mind, and they argue all the time, right? Sometimes the devil wins, sometimes the angel wins, but it's a very, very beautiful text. It was written about 300 years ago, 350 years ago, by His Holiness the First Panchen Lama. So in Tibet, the Dalai Lamas and the Panchen Lamas, they sort of alternate. When the Dalai Lama is a boy, the Panchen Lama will run things, and when the Panchen Lama is a boy, the Dalai Lama will run things. And so philosophically, or in the teaching lineage, You can say that there was the Indian lineage, and then it entered Tibet. And then for about 400 years, there was some confusion in Tibet about what's the meaning. It's very similar nowadays in the Western countries. The ideas about Buddhism or these ideas are many, many confused ideas. So that was 400 years in Tibet. Then Tsongkhapa came, and he cleaned up the mess, and if you really understand the great books, he's the greatest spiritual writer in human history, in the history of this whole world. I think so. But he came around 1400 and he cleaned things up. And then there started a very kind of, I don't know, golden time of Buddhism for about 500 years in Tibet. There was very, very clear practice, very, very clear meditation, retreat, philosophy. My wife says my butt fell off when I was a kid. Never mind. Okay. All right. Then, now I'll sleep. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so really the first Panchen Lama is during that golden era, during that golden time. And I think he was kind of the perfect Buddhist. He was a great poet, beautiful, beautiful poetry. And I translated a book of his poetry. And he was a great philosopher. His books about Dharma are the most accurate, some of the greatest books. For example, I know John Brady's interested in the transformation of the 5 heaps in the Diamond Way. He wrote the best book about that and things like that. And he was a great retreater. He was famous for his retreats. He was a peacemaker. He got involved in some very difficult wars in his time. And he made peace between the armies and between the fighters. He risked his life, and he was able to bring peace among 2 countries at war. And that just because he was so devoted and so dedicated. So he's a beautiful, beautiful teacher. And he wrote this book about the argument in one person's mind between the good side of the mind and the bad side of the mind. And my teacher introduced me to it. And my teacher passed away before he could finish it. And I always felt that I should try to finish it, because that's really, I think, the only major book he didn't. He passed away in the middle of it, and he couldn't finish it. And so I thought it would be important for me to finish. So I've been teaching it for 14 years. And we're taking our time, if you notice. In fact, maybe we taught it here 12 years ago or something. Some of you might remember, the older people. And the whole book is about 600 verses. I finished it recently because I'm in the Good Night Book Club. But I'll tell you more about that later. So I finished translating it recently. It's 598 verses or something like that. And nowadays I'm kind of writing a small commentary to it because it's kind of, some of it is confusing. Some of it's very difficult. So I'm writing a small commentary and then then you'll be able to get it, okay? So let's start. In the reading I gave you guys, it starts out, I took the first paragraph of the book, and I keep putting it in each time I give a reading, okay? This is the 21st session we've had. So 21 sessions over the last 14 years. And the first part is the same, okay? It says, this is an argument that happened between wisdom and her opponent. And her enemy, wisdom's enemy inside your own mind, is called the habit of thinking that things are real, okay? The habit of thinking that things are real. So what we have in this book is a discussion between wisdom and this bad habit of thinking things are real, okay? And what does that mean? We got to talk about it, okay? And the argument started about the Sanskrit word called Mahamudra. Say Mahamudra. Maha means big, like magnum, magnificent comes from that. And then mudra means a seal. Like the seal that a king would put on a paper or something like that. It can be the seal, or it can be the instrument, the wooden or the iron seal that they use is called mudra, okay? And Mahamudra is a very, very famous meditation where the object of the meditation is your own mind, okay? And that's a special object of meditation called Mahamudra. So when you say, you know, what are you doing nowadays? And you say, I'm doing Mahamudra meditation. It means you are meditating with your own mind as the object. So you're kind of stepping back from the mind and then watching the mind talk, okay? And you're kind of a spy on your own mind, okay? And that style of meditation is called Mahamudra. Later, that became a whole diamond way category. So there are, in our database, John Brady's database, there are about 165 different tantras. So Vajrayogini is just one. Kala Chakra is just one. Yamantaka is just one. And no one has ever cataloged them all. And John's project has. And there's 167, something like that, different tantric systems. And so Mahamudra has entered that list. I don't know, maybe 1,000 years ago, okay. When you say that practice has become Diamond Way or Tantric, then there'll be a whole body of literature that grows up around that style or that topic. So typically there'll be a root tantra from ancient India. Then there'll be explanatory tantras, maybe 5 to 10 explanatory tantras. These are huge works. These are 1,000 pages, 2,000 pages each. And then when it enters Tibet, through Bengal, through northeast India, then these tantric lineages got stronger and stronger, more defined. Then people started writing separate commentaries on the fire offering, or how to close the retreat, how to do the retreat, how to do the mantra, how to do the empowerment, how to do poa, how to leave your body how to leave your body at the end of your life, things like that. There will be a whole separate system dedicated to that tantra. So Mahamudra is one of those, and John Brady's project total is 80 million words so far, 37 years of hard work. And so we have a whole system of secret practice called Mahamudra. So when you say Mahamudra, either it means an entire cycle, they call it a cycle of teachings, like maybe 20 to 100 commentaries, and then the meditation of Mahamudra. This book is more about the meditation called Mahamudra, although it automatically covers some of the secret practices, okay? All right, so I'm going to pick up, I'm going to start at verse number 352. How far did we get in 14 years? How many verses total? 600. 598, something like that, okay? So we are just over halfway through, okay? It's good luck. And I'm not going to speed up, I'm sorry. I'm going to teach it sweetly and the way we should teach it. And it's very, very deep, okay? It's very, very deep. Okay. Listen to this listen to his poetry. It's all in poetry, okay? Nawa tene ke badi, nawa dendu tangeda, nawa dame tenisa, nawa demba me bandi, nawa dendu tade dang, nawa deme tanisa. Like that. It's very poetic, okay? And he's talking about nawa. Say nawa. Say dongba. Say nang dong. Okay, 3 things, okay? Here's the first one. Nawa. Good. Tongba. Nang Tong. Okay, good. We're starting this class, and by the way, every day I will teach one class from Angel. Angel debates the devil. And then I'll teach one class from Song of My Spiritual Life. The second class is meant to prepare people for Diamond Way teaching. If you do the full ACI course in Diamond Way, it's, I don't know, it's 18 different courses. It takes 7 years. If you do it properly, it takes 7 years to get through the 18 courses. And then you have to take 18 courses to prepare. So the classical ACI presentation, open teachings, then secret teachings, takes 36 courses, and normally it's 14 years of study. So I'm kind of in my old age. I would like to make an easier way for people to enter Diamond Way. Traditionally, for people who did the 3-year retreat in Diamond Mountain starting 2010, they had 7 years of training in open Buddhism in New York, and then at Diamond Mountain they had 7 more years of training, and then they started their 3-year retreat, okay? So for that course, the first year of Diamond Way study is to study a book called Dalam, or The Path to Bliss. And that was written by the same author, okay? The first Panchen Lama. So if you take the traditional style, John Brady style, you get to John Brady, Connie, Jigme. If you have a chance to do the whole 18 courses, the first 3 courses that you go through are by the first Panchen Lama, same author, same writer, okay? So here in this class, for this week, we will do, first class will be first Panchen Lama, debate in the person's mind. This first class is 75 minutes. The second class is 60 minutes. Just because people get tired, and I supposedly get tired. So we'll do 75 minutes the first class, which means we have some extra time for Q&A, okay? And I enjoy Q&A. I usually talk too much, and we don't have time for Q&A, but I'll try to control myself. And so if you want to make a note about any question you have, probably at the end of this class, the last 15 minutes or so, I'll try to do Q&A, okay? And I enjoy all kinds of Q&A, okay? I don't care what kind of question you ask, okay? It could be personal, it could be business, it could be Dharma, it could be translation. I'm happy to answer any question. That's what a Geshe is trained for 25 years, to answer questions. So, you know, I'm ready, okay? And I'm happy to do it. And I enjoy asking my teacher questions. My teacher stopped eating meals with me because I asked too many questions. He made me bring his meal to his room, and then he locked the door. And then I found out if I had to drive him to teach in other states, sometimes 5-hour drive, and I would ask him questions. And then he would pretend to sleep the whole way. Anyway, it's a tradition, okay? So I enjoy questions, and I'm happy to answer questions, okay? Any topic is okay. All right. Then the second class, well, as I mentioned, it's a short lamrim by Jetsun Kappa, and it was used as an introduction to a Diamond Way initiation about 100 years ago, okay? And that teacher was my teacher's teacher, one of my teacher's teachers. So I thought it would be sweet to use that song of my spiritual life. Tsongkhapa never talks about his own practice. He never talks about himself. He wrote 350 major books, and he never once talks about himself, except in this one book. Okay, so I thought that'd be so cool to teach the book where Tsongkhapa talks about himself. And he mentions how to enter Diamond Way. So we're going to use that book. And the translation I did was based on an actual teaching that was given to students who were preparing for Diamond Way. Okay, so it's cool. All right, I'll read the English translation. Ready? The appearance of things is the fact that things arise in dependence. The appearance of things draws a line to stop things being real. The appearance of things banishes the two extremes where nothing exists at all. The appearance of things proves that nothing is real. The appearance of things destroys the extreme, that anything is real. The appearance of things banishes the two extremes where nothing exists at all. Okay, so this is appearance, is the word nang. Say nang. Yeah, nang lotong means inner. Nang, like nang ba, is the Tibetan word for Buddhist. It means the person on the inside, nang ba. And then if you change the tone and you go nang ba, nawang. Say nawang. That means the appearance, okay? And you gotta get this feeling in your heart when I say appearance, nawa. It means like a soft, pleasant light from the moon or from even sunlight, but not Arizona sunlight, okay? And some kind of like Ukrainian sunlight, okay? Like a gentle sunlight, okay, and that's called nangwa. When there's a kind of a Tim, I know it's been difficult. Then, if you know, some kind of light bulbs are frosty white or something, and they give like a gentle light, that's called nangwa. Okay, anytime something makes its appearance, anytime something gives light, That's called nawa, okay? It's a very interesting word. And then it is the sister of tomba, say tomba. So tomba means empty, and nawa means light, soft light, the appearance of light, okay? Soft light on one side, and then emptiness on the other side. And it's a very, very famous brother and sister. It's called Nang Tong, say Nang Tong. Yeah, and I think we have a picture, you guys. Francisco, you ready? Maybe. Let's see. Not that guy. This one. Yeah, I tried to find a picture. It's supposed to be darkness and light, okay? Then you can say that Nang is on the right and the Tong is on the left, okay? And so Nang is appearance, and then Tong is more dark, okay? More like nighttime, like daylight and darkness, okay? These are Nang Tong, okay? And this whole section of the first Panchen Lama, he's Losan Chukyi Gyalten. He's going to talk about, by the way, his first name is taken from Tsongkhapa's first name, okay? Lobsang, okay? So he's going to talk more about Nawa. Now, so you've got it in your mind. Oh, Geshe-la's talking about like soft daylight and then dark, okay? Soft daylight and dark, and it's called Nang Tong, okay? So get that in your heart first, and then I'll explain to you why it's wrong. Okay, so in our text, it has a different meaning, and Nawa means the appearance of things to us, okay? When we meet somebody, when we look at a building, when we see the blue sky, that's called Nawa, okay? Things are appearing to us, okay? And then Tongba means the way they really are, okay? So in this case, Nang, the meaning of the word is appearance, but it means all the stuff that's appearing to us, whether it's outside or inside. Your thoughts are also Nawa, okay? The thoughts you hear in your mind are also Nawa. And then all the stuff you see, all the people you see, is called Nawa. And then somewhere, that's light, and then somewhere there's Tomba, okay? And now I'll tell you a secret. All the stuff you normally see is not in either one. Okay? All the stuff you normally think, all the stuff you normally see around you, if you ask Geshe Michael, is that Nang or Tong? Is that soft light or is that emptiness? And I'll say, neither one. Why? $100 question. His name got changed, Ibai. Rob Haggerty's name got changed to Ibai. Ibai means $100 in Chinese language. Everybody says, hi Ibai. Okay. What was the question? I forgot. Yeah, well, how come there's appearance, and then there's emptiness, and then there's everything else? And everything in this room is outside of light and dark. It's different. Okay? There's light, the light side of things, Nang. There's the emptiness side of things, Tong. And then everything here, all your thoughts, all your feelings, every person here, everything in the room is not either. Why?
Maybe Geshe-la because it looks like self-existent.
Well, can't hear.
Looks like self-existent.
Good, $100. Yeah, she said, so there's all the stuff you think is in this room, okay? There's all the stuff you think is in all the people, all the objects, the whole building, the town, the city, the mountains around the city. if you ask me, are those like positive reality or are those negative reality? Nang or tong? I have to say neither one. Okay? Everything you see, every person you see was never there. Was never there. Not possible. Okay? They are impossible. Okay? All the things you see, all the thoughts you have, all the feelings you have, yourself, everybody else, okay? They don't exist at all. Okay? The way you feel about them, they don't exist. Okay? They don't exist at all. Okay? And it takes many years of practice, meditation, study, thinking, yoga. It takes many years of practice to realize that all the things you're looking at, they never existed at all. You're completely, totally mistaken. Okay? Everything. Everything around you. The way you feel about everything is completely mistaken. You're walking around in a circus that's not real. Okay? And I'm sorry, and if you say, Geshe, maybe I'm just 1% correct, I say no, you're not. Everything you think you see is not what you think it is, okay? All right. And we got to talk about that. So the real light and the real dark, okay? This picture is, in the world, is it daytime or is it nighttime, okay? That's one division of light and dark, okay? But there's another division of light and dark. Here it is, Francisco. Ta-da. Huh? One of these is nang. One of these is tong. Okay? One of these is nang. One of these is tong. So, this lady's making tea for her teacher. And she's looking at a pot, okay? She's opening the pot on the left side, and she's going to put water in the pot, okay? And she has a certain feeling about the pot. As she's filling it with water, she has a certain feeling about the pot, okay? That feeling, very deep down, very, very deep down, is that the pot is out there and the pot is appearing to me, okay? That feeling, sortong, if you know the word, it seems to be the pot is out there, Geshe is out there, and then Geshe is appearing to me, We even say in physics, light is coming down, hitting my body, and then reflecting to you. So then you think Geshe is out there. That's your natural feeling. And then the light's coming from him to me. Geshe is out there. That's how she feels about the pot when she's filling the pot with water. This refers to a real experience that I had 50 years ago this year, okay? And I was studying hard, meditating hard, serving really hard. And I remember filling up a pot with water, okay? Because that was my job. I was the cook for 8 long years. My teacher got either meal A or meal B. Because I only knew how to cook 2 things. I don't know how he survived. But, I had to do all the dirty work for 8 years, So anyway, I was making him some tea, and I was putting water in a pot, and it felt to me like that pot was out there, and I reached for the pot, and I put the water in the pot, and the water come from the faucet, and I put it, okay? That pot, that water never existed, cannot exist. Okay, if you think someone made this pot and someone made the plumbing to bring the water here, and you turned on the faucet and the water filled the pot, When you feel like that and when you look like that, which is all the time, ever since you were born, every single minute, you feel like it's out there and it's appearing to you. That part on the left side, okay, it doesn't exist at all. Okay, it doesn't exist at all. The part which is not coming from her, the part which is not coming from her, didn't ever exist, couldn't ever exist, doesn't ever exist. You see? Cannot. Impossible. Okay? So Geshe, how could she make tea without a pot? That's the pot on the other side. That's the pot on the stove. Okay? And then I was cooking for my teacher. I was making Tibetan tea. And I was studying hard, you know. And meditating hard and serving hard. I built his house, 2-story house, painful, and I paid for it. And I served everybody in the whole town. I was chibeta, public horse. I was the only person who had a car, so I drove everywhere. Everybody. I was a slave for the whole town. And I was serving, and studied, meditating hard. And then I was watching the pot. I was standing there watching the pot. Under the influence of deep meditations, hard service of my teacher, hard study. I was fanatic. I went home once in 25 years. When my brother died, for one day, you know, that's all. And I worked hard. I worked really hard. And then I'm looking at that pot, and okay, here's Nung. Here's the real Nung. You ready? Real Nung, real appearance of things means it starts with how you treat other people. Okay? Nung starts with how you treat other people. Are you nice to other people? Are you kind to other people? Do you share what you have with other people? Okay? I was looking for 20 years, I'm looking for a word for the first perfection. I hate, no, there's a worse one. Generosity. Then even giving, I don't like it anymore. I like sharing, you know. Okay, if you're practicing the first perfection and you are really sharing what you have, because sharing in English means you take what you have and you split it and you say, okay, this for you and this I'll keep this and you take that, you know. And that's what the first perfection is. If you're working hard on constantly splitting your assets, you know, if you're an asset splitter, your bank account, the objects in your house, your car, your everything, you just always, every day it's like atomic fission. You just keep splitting, you know. Oh, you wake up, you take what was 100% yesterday and now it's only 50% and suddenly it's 25 and 25. I was working on it in the car on the way down here. Rob Russinger's on strike with my account. Anyway, if you been giving, okay, then you have a seed in your mind, okay? You have a karmic seed in your mind, okay? And you walked into the kitchen with a karmic seed in your mind, okay? Then you stood in front of the stove and the seed opened, okay? And the problem is that karmic seeds open so fast, okay? 65 per second, okay? There, you know, okay, watch, you ready? 1, 2, 3, boop. That's about 300 seeds, okay? Wow, that's the longest boop I ever saw, I guess. So it's like 300 seeds came out during that time. It's impossible to catch them. They are so fast. Your whole life, you are creating things with your seeds, and you don't know because it's too fast. It's going too fast. A normal person cannot see it. The seed opens in your mind. On the day that you understand this, something beautiful happens. You catch one seed opening directly. You watch it, okay? And I'll tell you how it feels, and it's weird. It shouldn't feel like anything, because a seed is not physical. A karmic seed is a possibility, okay? How many possibilities can you put in my hand? You know, I mean, it's possible I'm going to have a good dinner tonight if things go right. But it's also possible they'll burn it or something like, right? In my hand, how many possibilities can I put? Zillion, billion, doesn't matter. They don't take up any space, okay? People always think, Geshe, how many seeds will fit in my mind? It's a dumb question. It's not physical. It's not even mental. It's a possibility. It's a maybe. It's a quantum. Maybe it will be positive, maybe it'll be negative. We don't know. It's just a maybe, okay? Your mind is full of maybes. You planted them there, okay? So I had a possibility of a pot with water in it in my mind. And on the day that it happens to you, that you see Nang of Nang Tong, okay? When you see Nang directly, it will be like that. You'll say, it feels like the seed was back here. That's probably why John had burned off here with both of us. It feels like the seed is back here, and it feels like the seed opens, and it feels like a picture of the pot comes out. It feels like it goes through the Madhya Bruvor Madhya, between the eyebrows. It feels like that, a little higher. It feels like the picture comes out of there. And then the picture goes down to the stove and makes a pot, okay? And that picture is so good that it's real, okay? That karmic picture of a pot, you can boil water in it, okay? It's real. It is real, okay? And it's coming from, by the way, get this, okay? And don't forget this. This is the only thing you really have to know this week. That means the whole world is coming from how you treat other people. That's all. It's not that you have a responsibility as a Buddhist to help other people. That's not the point. If you're a good person, you should help other people. That's not the point. Every atom of your reality around you is being created by how you treat other people, okay? And if you're like lazy being nice to other people, by the way, my phone is cycling something and about to burn up in my pocket. Maybe my wife is yelling at me, so, oh, it's a bill, okay. Okay, we'll catch you later. That's the real meaning of Nang, okay? When he said appearance, 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 it means your mind is like a flashlight. Your mind is like an automobile light, you know? Your mind is sending things out 65 per second, millisecond. And that in Buddhism is called the appearance of the world. Okay? Appearance is a code word. Appearance is a secret word. And you don't see appearance for what it is until you're almost ready to touch emptiness. Okay? I'm explaining it to you. You are conceptualizing it. While you conceptualize it, you are thinking of it the wrong way. While I'm explaining it to you, you are misunderstanding it. It's amazing. It's cool. Not. Okay? So, you know, you are creating me. Your seeds are opening in your mind according to how nice you've been to other people. And then they are creating every detail of your life. That's called appearance. In Buddhism, that's called the appearance of things. It's coming from you. Okay? Okay? Nung. Say nung. Okay, we're ready to go to the second word. That's why it took 14 years to get here. Say tong. So I'll give $100 if anyone can explain tong to me in terms of nung. And it can't be inner every time.
It can be one.
Oh, hustle.
Okay, so Nang is the light that comes up as dependent origination, and Tong is the darkness, but in the sense of an absence, emptiness. There is no pot there other than the one that's coming from that seed.
Okay, good. $100. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, good. Yeah. To repeat what Juan said, how many pots are on the stove that are not coming from how you treat other people? 0. That's tong. Nang tong is all reality comes into 2 parts. Nang and tong. Okay? Nang means how much stuff in a positive sense is being created by your mental seeds. That's called nang, the appearance of things. It's not the normal meaning of appearance, okay? At all. Appearance in this text means all the stuff that's being cooked up by your seeds. Okay, that's nang. How much stuff isn't being created that way? That's tong. That's emptiness, okay? And that is a powerful reality. It's not just not there, okay? Emptiness doesn't mean something's not there. It doesn't only mean that. It's a profound 50% of reality, okay? It's how many pots you ever held in your hand that were not coming out of your mind. And the answer is 0. In Buddhism, if you come to a class, I hate to tell you this, you have sworn to pass it on. Okay? In a Buddhist class, when you attend a Buddhist class, isn't that weird? You have to pay and then you have to work afterwards? Okay. In Buddhism, if you hear 10 minutes of teaching, you swear to pass on that 10 minutes of teaching to other people. And by the way, it could be your sister, it could, I get out of it. On the plane, I talk to the person next to me. Did you know about Nang Tong? They're like, no. And I said, so I do 10 minutes. And I said, okay, that's all. You can relax. You can sleep now. Okay? You have a responsibility. By coming to a class, it's assumed in Buddhism that you have promised to teach. Okay? In your own way, in your own style. You know, my teacher said you can teach anywhere. And that's teaching. I'll tell you a cute story. So I commuted to the diamond business for 19 years. 4 hours per day on the bus. Okay? I didn't take the money to buy a car. I donated everything to John Brady, which is a good habit. So I didn't have a car, and I had to stand out in the snow, rain, heat, wait for the bus, you know. And then it was 4 hours a day on the bus for 19 years. Okay, that's why I should get a new car. No, karmically speaking, but my teacher said I should teach anywhere. So one day the bus broke, halfway back to Howell. It broke up near Perth Amboy. And it was cold, dark night. Usually it was midnight or something. And we all have to get out of the bus. We don't have cell phones in those days, okay? And we all look around, there's 50 businessmen, you know, looking around, and there's a bar. There's just a bar, with a go-go girl, which I have never seen, and I've never been in a bar like that. And I'm like, then I have to call my friend Art, So I went in the bar, and I sit down, and I called my friend. I said, you gotta come get me. I'm stuck on the road, And then there's two guys sitting next to me, and they're like, hey man, what's up? And I said, did you hear about Nang Tong? They're like, huh? So what I mean is, wherever you go in your life, try to share with somebody, okay? Don't bother them. If they say you're bothering me, then shut up, okay? You're not allowed to bother people. In Buddhism, you're not allowed to bother other people with your religion, okay? You stay quiet, stay chill, wait for them to have 3 beers, and then start talking. They don't mind. Okay. Anyway, I did teach in the bar. Okay. So now you know appearance and emptiness, nang tong. Okay. Then all the stuff you ever saw in your whole life, and all the people you ever met in your whole life, I'll ask you, I'll confirm, are they nang or are they tong? They are neither. They don't exist at all. Okay? Because you had the wrong feeling about them. Got it? That's tricky. You have to say that. Okay? Geshe, your computer's there. That's true. So are you saying it doesn't exist? It doesn't exist the way you feel it exists. Therefore, that computer that you feel is up here is not here. And that's neither nang or tong. It's outside of nang tong. It's zero. It's not there. It was never there. Okay? Especially people who irritate you are not even there. Okay? That's a tragedy. 8 billion people irritated during the day at nothing. That's tragic. That's a disaster. That's a global disaster. All the wars, all the disagreements, all the arguments, they're all about nothing. Literally nothing, okay? People say, don't argue about nothing. You say, it's not nothing to me, but it is nothing, okay? There's nothing there, okay? So, nang and tong, okay? All right. Tsongkhapa wrote a book called Three Principal Paths. I think it's, you're going to try to stop me with a timer. You're assuming I will look at it. I'm getting close. Okay. Tsongkhapa wrote a very famous book, probably one of his greatest books, Three Principal Paths. And in there's a famous verse, okay? Nawa tenda lua me padan tomba kelan tewe koin ni jisi susa nawa desi du dadu tu be komba toba me. Nawa tenda lua me padan. Nangwa, he talks about nangwa means how you treat others comes back to you exactly the way it should. Nothing ever breaks the laws of karma. Nothing ever breaks the laws of karma. Okay? No atenda lua mepa. Lua mepa means there's never 1% variation from reality. Okay? You get everything that happens to you is exactly what's supposed to happen to you. Okay? And you talk about the power of God. 8 billion people are getting their karma back to them at this moment, exactly what they deserve, and there's no collision. It's weird, So if Stanley has the karmic seed from from saying nice things to his retreatants, then he's going to see this computer as something useful. And then if cat, I don't know, if you were yelling at somebody yesterday, you're going to see the same computer as something sinister, something not so nice. Okay? The computer is the same. But karma allows 8 billion people to get exactly what they deserve with no collisions. That's unbelievable. The objects have to stretch to fit the karma. Okay? The objects have to, this computer has to be able to look bad and good at the same time. Okay? It's amazing. It's unbelievable. Okay, so kapasi namatanda luwa mepatong. Tomba kelen chewe konyi. And the understanding of emptiness, which he calls dangerously, he calls it kelen tel. Kelen means position, take a position. Tel means void of any position. And that 3 syllables has caused a lot of trouble for hundreds of years. Okay? Geshe Soso know what Desi do. If you think this light and this darkness are separate things, dadung tube gomba toba me, you still don't get what the Buddha meant. So I'll leave you with that. Okay? What did Geshe just say? The appearance of the pot on the stove. Okay? The pot on the right. Okay? That you just understood. I just talking about the picture and you took it away. I finally got to the picture. Yeah. The pot on the right is the one that Geshe Michael saw the seed opening and the picture coming out. Okay? That's the pot on the right. The pot on the left was 2 minutes before that. The pot on the left was 2 minutes before that. 2 minutes before that, I had never seen a karmic seed open in my life. And then 2 minutes later, I did. See what I mean? Okay? So the lady on the left is dealing with something that's not there. She's putting a lid on something which is not there. Okay? The pot on the right is good. It's making tea. You can make tea with it. Okay? Real tea. Okay? You got to think about it. You got to think about it. Okay? Is one of these 2 pots nangwa? Yeah, the one on the right. Because I already understood that it's coming out of my seeds. Okay? Is any of the pots in this picture tomba? Yeah, the one on the left. Okay? Because it's not real. It's empty of being real. Okay? She's got emptiness in her hands and she doesn't know it. Okay? It's very interesting. This is the clash of angels and devils, really. This is real light and real dark in the moral sense. This is real truth fighting with lies. You know, this is light and dark in the sense of war or hatred. Okay, these 2 little pots are the world. Okay, got it? Okay, Q&A. Let's do Q&A. I got through 1/3 of the class. Not bad. Any question about anything? I don't care. If you don't, I'll go to dinner.
Geshe, I'm a little bit confused because in one part, if I teach to someone that doesn't know about this, maybe I will confuse more them and I don't want to plant that seed. But at the same time, if they are coming from me, they're just, I put them just to practice teachings. So should I be more more empathy and maybe not teaching these deep teachings, or just teach?
Good question. It's a famous bodhisattva vow not to teach people emptiness too soon. It's a famous bodhisattva vow. There should be another vow that you taught them too late. Okay. But, this is what we call tapke, or skillful means, upaya in Sanskrit. And the teacher, the one giving the teaching, with sincerity and with love, they have to judge the student's level. They have to judge the level of the student. And normally, real emptiness teaching like we gave today is something that takes a few years of training for the student. The student should not hear this kind of teaching unless they've had some training before, okay? And we break a bodhisattva vow if we confuse a person about emptiness. So it's a very delicate thing. I would say you break a vow if you don't teach gently something about emptiness, but you also break a vow if you really confuse somebody about emptiness. So, you have to use your best judgment. And I think when you talk about bodhisattva vow, bodhisattva behavior, it's so nice to be able to use Buddhist words in this audience, by the way. I don't have to DCI some business talk. It's so nice. Bodhisattva means you really hoping that this person will reach ultimate happiness all the time. All your interactions with other people, you're like, what can I say at this moment that will help them be a good person? So that's all. Yeah. And I'll show you a way to teach emptiness, though. And I mean, my friends know this. Show me your left hand. Point your left index finger. And by the way, if you ever ask to teach emptiness, you can do it this way, and you're totally safe. Nobody will have a problem in the room. Okay. Okay, you guys are ready? Everybody got their left hand index finger. Now, please point to something in this room which is not coming from the karmic seeds in your own mind. Then you got to be an actress or an actor. You got to go. You got to, in English we say you got to ham it up. You got to be like a comedian. That's why Zelensky is such a good leader, by the way. And always at the end of that comedy, go like this. Then, okay, and that means there's nothing in this room that's not come from you, not coming from your seeds, right? You can't find anything. When you want to teach an emptiness to a group of people, this is very powerful and very correct. And I've never had anyone really take off their clothes and run around, with this particular emptiness. Okay? So I think it's pretty safe. I think it's pretty safe. And it's easy to remember when you're teaching a group of people, you feel a little nervous. You can say, okay, everybody raise your hand. And then you can also see who's dozing, who's sleeping. They're like, they don't raise their hand. They say, everybody raise your hand. Then every once in a while, as a public speaker, you can try to wake up the whole audience, which is a challenge. Okay, other question.
Can I ask a question? Thank you.
Talk loud, okay?
Okay.
The acoustics are weird from where I sit.
Okay. Thank you, Geshe, for this beautiful teaching. And the obsession for me with the Nangwa and the Tong is the self. I'm trying to deconstruct how I constructed the self. And I'm so attached to my eyes. I'm so attached to my ears. I'm so attached to all these parts that are functioning in my body so that I can listen to the teachings, see what's coming, all your slides, and all these parts. And yet the end goal, the part of the self that I think is existing is wrong, and I think that I'm going to get there and experience something. So can you help me to apply the Nongwa and the Tong to where I'm at right now, so that I can help to work on the self inside me, so that the mirror outside me can be more powerful moving forward to get to the end goal?
Okay, great. First of all, we have to talk about the word self in Buddhism, okay? It's so nice to be able to say the word Buddhism. Right, John? So Buddhism, that we always talk about dak or self, in Sanskrit Atman, and you heard in Buddhist talks so long that self-grasping is a bad thing and you're a bad person because you think you're yourself, and it gets very confusing and it gets very useless to think. You shouldn't think yourself. So the word self in Buddhism, listen, okay, listen. The word self, Atman, dak, means anything which is not coming from a seed in your mind. That's all. Okay? The pot on the stove, which is not coming from you, is self. That's all. It doesn't mean you shouldn't think you're yourself. I mean, that's led so many Buddhists to be so frustrated for so many years. I shouldn't be myself. Who? Me. But that is yourself. Well, but it's wrong. I know I'm a bad person. And it's just one more thing to feel bad about yourself. You should be, by the way, the second teaching today is about how you should treasure your ear and your eye and your fingers and your human body, and that self is the most precious thing anyone ever gave you, and you should be attached to it and you should take good care of it, and God bless you. It's a good thing. Okay, you have to take care of yourself. Okay, so it's not wrong. I mean, by the way, I'll tell you something cool. I was in a big discussion with a bunch of famous people, and they said, this is in Peru, by the way, and they're like, what's the basis of Buddhist ethics? And I'm like, I bet you cannot guess what it is in Buddhism that makes something right or wrong. Okay, why is war wrong? Why is sharing what you have right? I bet you cannot guess what it is, what divides right from wrong in Buddhist ethics. I'll give $100. Do we? I hope we gotta find some more money around. I don't know. I forgot to rob my piggy bank, but we'll work it out. We'll go to the bank. What divides right or wrong in Buddhism?
Can I say?
Say again?
Can I say the answer?
If you want $100, but if you don't want $100,
I just grabbed the microphone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Geshe.
it's nice to have you here, by the way.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Anything you do to other people that will make you suffer in the future is a bad
Good.
deed, and the opposite.
Yeah, good. Okay. the definition of good and bad in Buddhism, if it hurts you in the future if you do it, that's bad. And if it helps you, just you, in the future, it's good. And that's the line between good and evil in Buddhism. Okay? It's very interesting. There's a small print. The only way you can help yourself is to help others. Okay? But anyway, it's very interesting. If you undertake an action and it hurts you, that's evil. And if you undertake an action and it ends up helping you, that's good. And that's the only measure of good or evil. I went to Princeton. I was in the religion department. We argued for hours and hours about if one person has to die to save 100 people, is that good or bad? You see what I mean? Should they die or shouldn't they die? We had these kinds of arguments, you know. And from a Buddhist viewpoint, if that action would create happiness for you, then it's correct. And if that action would create pain for you, then that's incorrect. Okay? That's evil. Okay? Cool? We are out of time. Now, explain the bathroom ethics here. How long do we have? You want to say anything? You want to come up and say anything? We have a 30-minute break. The bathrooms are out here, right? And that's all, right? See you at what time? See you at 4:45. Okay, and we'll start the Song of My Spiritual Life. Okay, thank you.